The marketing team for Mother Gunship Forge has done a pretty reasonable job. In recent years, the announcement of another wave shooter would have been met with, at best, scornful derision, and at worst, an angry mob, virtual pitchforks at the ready. Yet, here we are, staring down the absurdly handcrafted barrel of VR's most saturated genre, and we are not outraged. We are, dare I say, intrigued. Bravo! But the real question is, how long will that sense of intrigue last? Mother Gunship Forge is, you guessed it, a wave shooter. But it's not just a wave shooter. At the heart of the game is a unique and intuitive crafting system that aims to set the game apart from the hordes of similar titles. To be honest, it actually comes close. Each level of the game is essentially a room full of robotic harshness, which you must dispatch from the confines of a rather small platform. The action takes place entirely in the 180 degrees in front of you, and although there is some action being thrown at you from the sides, the lack of a total 360-degree onslaught is a real missed opportunity. You begin with gauntlets, upon which you can fix randomly selected weapons. However, at the end of each room, you have the chance to be awarded another gun part. Essential to this process is the Lego-like connector pieces, which will allow you to mount more and more components together and create ever more preposterous weapon configurations. The actual weapon attachments range from the run-of-the-mill shotgun and grenade launcher to the slightly more inventive pizza slicer, a metal box that launches saw blades into the fray. In between rounds, you can reconfigure your arsenal, see what I did there, to try new combinations or to try and fit in even more destructive potential. All in all, this system is really great and is easily the best reason to play Mother Gunship Forge. Some might say it's the only reason. Mother Gunship Forge is a game that is basically just built on one really solid premise, the gun crafting mechanics. This element is addictive and engaging and, quite simply, a lot of fun. Had Mother Gunship Forge taken that wonderful core conceit and built a game around it that complemented it as much as it celebrated it, then this game could have been something exceptional. That is, however, not what happened. Instead, developers Terrible Posture Games have shoved their innovative crafting system into the bloated corpse of the most overplayed genre available in VR, and in doing so sentenced it to a slow death. Don't get me wrong, everything here works, and it works pretty well. In fact, Mother Gunship Forge is a solid iteration of stand here and shoot the baddies. But so are the scores of others that already exist. It's not bad per se, it's just been done before. Quite often. The game offers some bullet hell components which fill the screen with assorted chaos and brings a pistol whip style physicality to the gameplay, and that works well. The roguelike feature that allows you to pick the prize you win at the end of each wave is well executed and enables the player to tailor their run to a mood or a particular playstyle. Even the progression system is well done, with new rewards clearly signposted and enough new gear unlocked at the end of each run to really make you want to go back again. There's some very basic movement on offer. Still, the size of your platform is limited to the point that the smooth locomotion actually feels like an afterthought. Those of you lucky enough to have large play spaces will definitely get the most out of the game, as the room-scale duck and dive elements add a lot more presence to the action. Honestly, there's nothing here that's bad. Still, without the super cool crafting element, Mother Gunship Forge would probably have been the gaming equivalent of a small beige wall located within the Museum of Beige Walls. As it stands, I really enjoyed my first 3 hours in the game. Then I tolerated another 2 before playing one final hour purely from a sense of review-based obligation. Once this review is done, I can pretty much guarantee I will never feel the urge to play this one again. Mother Gunship Forge also has a co-op mode, and in this instance has achieved something that I have quite literally never seen before. That is, they have made the first multiplayer mode that is actually less fun to play with a friend than it is just to play the single-player game. I mean, on the plus side, the game allows you to throw gun parts to each other so that you can swap pieces in and out. That was a fun element that I enjoyed. Unfortunately, that was about all I enjoyed, other than the sparkling conversation with Omar. Of course. The multiplayer version of the game removes all the progression, the roguelike elements, and the bosses. It literally removes all the things that actually keep you invested and just replace them with the other guy. I can imagine that if I wasn't playing with a friend with whom I enjoy talking bollocks, I would have noped out at about Wave 3 and spent some time evaluating my life choices. Visually, Mother Gunship Forge will not be winning any awards, but it gets the job done with reasonable proficiency. The art direction is solid, creating a chunky industrial world that is satisfying to blast robos in. The weapon effects are all nice and punchy, and even in the most chaotic moments, everything feels clean and easy to interpret. Each level has a unique visual feel, making your progression through the waves feel satisfying. The enemy design, however, does feel like it could have been a little bit more creative, as fairly shortly, enemies start to repeat themselves, just in bigger version. I mean, it works, but it's hardly innovative. The audio landscape that Mother Gunship Forge provides is again perfectly satisfactory. The voice acting is good, although sparse, and adds a nice sense of character and polish to the game. The music is a cavalcade of nondescript video game sounds that suits the tone and the theme of the game perfectly. But don't be expecting to put anything from here on your next Spotify playlist. To give a better example of how noteworthy the music is, after 6 hours in the game, I cannot remember a single riff. But I do remember that the music made me feel extra shooty at the time. The spatial audio is perhaps a little muted, and the enemy sound design is also a touch unimaginative, but as with the rest of the game, there's nothing overtly disappointing on display here. Mother Gunship Forge has a wonderful core mechanic that was sadly robbed of the chance to appear in a game worthy of its promise. It is an entirely satisfactory iteration on the wave shooter, but when you see how much fun it is to build the ever-growing monstrosities of Doom, it just seems criminal that you only get to use them in such a basic gaming context. I'm reluctant to strongly warn people away from playing Mother Gunship Forge, as it's really not terrible, but by the same token, it is just as hard to recommend it. There is just so much content out there already that delivers wave-focused action as proficiently. Now, if you could just give me a gun crafting system like this, and the intense wave survival of Crashland, you may just never get me out of the headset again. 6.5. Uninspired. If you're enjoying the channel and would like to stay up to date with all the news, reviews, and interviews, click the subscribe button now.